I know you already know this because you've seen the title and you understand how YouTube works, so I guess I'll just come out and say it. We bought a house! Oh my god. I'm actually gonna cry. I need to calm down. I don't want to get into a long history of how we got here, but I did want to give a tiny bit of a background because my husband and I are both very creative, kind of hippie types. We've always been freelancers. We've always kind of jumped around from creative project to creative project. And we just kind of always felt like homeownership was something that wasn't really compatible with our lives. Then when you know what happened, we ended up deciding to move across the country. My husband was offered a full-time job out here in the prairies in Canada, and it was just too good of an offer to pass up with all the uncertainty, with theaters being shut down for such a long period of time. So we bit the bullet and decided to go for it. We felt like it was a new adventure. It was time to try something. And we also took just a quick peek at the housing prices out here in Saskatchewan and Alberta, and they were a lot more attainable than anything anywhere close to Toronto where we were living. And suddenly homeownership felt a little more possible at some point in our future, which was just wild because in our 7 years together, it was just never something we thought we'd be able to do. Fast forward to a year and a few months ago, we arrived here in the prairies. We rented an apartment month to month because we didn't really know what was going to happen. But at the start of 2022, we started more seriously looking, and in April, we saw this house for the first time and literally immediately looked at each other and just knew. We walked around, we were really impressed. There was just like a feeling in the air. And then we went to our next showing with our realtor and we started looking around and we just stopped and looked at each other and said, that last house was the one. Like, I don't even want to stay in this house a moment more. I want to make an offer on that other house. That is our house. And that's what we did. We left the house, we wrote an offer. The next day we got a counter offer and we accepted and we had a house. Now, of course, there were other things that happened after that. We had to go through the financial approval. We had to have an inspection done. There was some drama with that. There was some stressful situations, but it worked out and we closed on this house on May 31st and jumped straight into renovations because this house was definitely a little bit of a fixer-upper, a little out of date. There may or may not have been blush carpets everywhere. So there were some things that needed to change, some updates that needed to happen, and we wanted to do some of those major updates before moving in. It just was going to be way easier to keep living in our apartment, especially because we have cats. We didn't want them to be in a construction zone. So we closed on May 31st. We started doing work on the house on June 1st, and it was just halfway through August, shortly after my 30th birthday, that we officially moved into this house, and we've been living here for about a week and a half, trying to navigate getting set up in the house, unpacking, all the madness, and not all of the work is finished, not by a long shot. We still have a lot of things to finish, a lot of things to do, but some of those major initial renos have been done, and it's honestly just the best feeling ever to wake up every day in this house that we own. I just feel so ridiculously grateful. Like every moment of every day, I am almost driven to tears because I just feel so grateful. And also sad that this isn't something that's possible for everyone, for all of our friends who we left behind in Toronto, for whom it's just completely out of reach because the housing prices in Toronto, in the GTA, in Ontario in general are just so astronomical and out of reach. Anyways, I just feel so energized and excited about doing those things and finally being able to make a space truly my own, truly our own for all four of us, me, my husband, and our two cats. Make a space that is cozy and homey and comfortable and inspiring and beautiful and all of those things. I'm just so excited about it. So I wanted to make this video to announce it to all of you because I'm starting to create content in this house full time and I knew people would notice that things were different, but also because I'd really love to share the process of renovating, decorating, and organizing our home with all of you. Oh, hi! Chewy decided to come join. He likes having a new house, but he is stressed by all the new sounds. Oh yeah. Because I've realized in the last couple of years how deeply important my environment is to my well-being, my mental and my physical health, my energy levels, my motivation, and just generally my happiness. I'm really, really impacted by my physical environment, and it's really exciting to finally get to paint the walls whatever color I want and, rip out a wall if we decide to, or put up a new wall, or I don't know, what are other things you can do in a house that you can't do in an apartment? Literally anything. So the options are endless, and it's really exciting to start to curate a space that really feeds our hearts. So I wanted to share this video to announce this to all of you. My patrons have known for months because they get the inside scoop on everything, but I really wanted to announce this to the rest of you, all of my friends here on the internet. I also kind of wanted to float this idea by you, see how you feel about home-related content. Are there specific types of videos that you would be interested in seeing from me that are home-related? Renovation, decor, organization, anything else home-related? Let me know in the comments down below if you have suggestions or requests for me. This is kind of a whole new area of content that I'm dipping my toe into, so it's a little bit overwhelming, but super exciting. I also wanted to share this video because I wanted to show you some of our early changes. You can get a little bit of a taster of what we've done so far, just a little sneak peek of what's to come and kind of the direction we're going with this house. Hopefully y'all will like it. I know we absolutely adore it, so even if y'all don't, it's fine, but I don't think y'all will be surprised by some of the aesthetic choices that are being made here. Like the fact that I painted this room, my filming room, a nice dark warm green. Is anyone shocked? I don't see how any of you could be. The main things that we really wanted to address before moving in were the floors. As I said, awful blush carpets everywhere and really, really ugly gray linoleum, both of which I'm pretty sure hadn't been updated since probably the 90s. We decided to install our hardwood flooring ourselves to save some money, and I'll put all the details of the specific flooring we got on the screen and in the description box if you like it. We really went back and forth so much on whether we should do more of a natural oak flooring or if we should go with something a little darker. And we ended up deciding to go with this darker stained oak flooring. And I'm just absolutely obsessed with it. I think it's so beautiful. It's a little dramatic and a little vintage feeling, which we really love. I think it goes with our color palette a little bit better. We love really warm, earthy tones, greens and oranges and mustard yellows and warm browns and all of those colors. I just feel like the richness and the warmth of these floors really tie into all of that. We just felt like it really went with our two favorite styles, which are sort of, I guess, late Victorian, really antique inspired things like velvet curtains and coziness and layered textures and metals and dark woods and moodiness. And then also our love of mid-century modern and retrofuturism, 1960s, 1970s modern aesthetics. I feel like it kind of lends itself to both of our favorite styles. All of that to say, we picked this flooring and we installed it ourselves with the help of my father-in-law, who was kind enough to come out from Ontario to help us. He did a lot of stuff while he was out here. We were very grateful to have him. In a lot of ways, putting the flooring in was easier than expected, but this is also an older home. It's 50 plus years old at this point, so the walls aren't perfectly straight, and there was a lot of kind of weird puzzle piecing together to make some of the weirder areas work. There were some pipes that had to be fixed, which is not particularly glamorous, but definitely very important. Installing air conditioning, because for some reason, a bunch of houses out here in the prairies don't have air conditioning, even though it gets really, really hot in the summertime. Maybe I just am a reptile and can't regulate my own body temperature, but I would not have been able to survive in this house if we didn't have air conditioning. Redoing the stairs, because those were also covered in the awful carpet. And color us surprised that having custom oak stairs made for a curving, spreading out staircase is not like a standard job that any carpenter or stairmaster, I don't think that's what they call them, stair expert, stair craftsperson can do. Apparently that's a specialty job. So hiring a carpenter to custom make stairs and treads and banisters that would match our flooring, Like I said, I want to leave the kitchen for a later video because I really want to go in depth into the whole process of the kitchen, the whole transformation, because it's absolutely wild. The kitchen is definitely the other thing that took the most time for it to be ready for us to move in. We still don't have a fridge, but that's a whole other story for another time. We also made some other changes before we moved in. Like, my husband was a real champ and he sanded down the popcorn ceilings on the top 3 floors of the house, which was amazing of him to do. So much work, very hard on the body, took forever, but the ceilings look amazing now. He also primed the ceilings, painted the ceilings, primed all the walls in the entire house. I removed a lot of unnecessary wallpaper, especially down here in the basement for some reason. And we painted most of the house a really beautiful, slightly off-white, like just one step away from pure white, tiny bit warmer, called Whisper White by Bear. Just a really beautiful color of white. But we wanted a little bit of color, just a little bit of something in some of the rooms. I was really advocating for our bedroom to have a darker color so that it would feel cozier, and I've just had to have white bedrooms for about a decade at this point, living in apartments, and I was so ready for a bedroom that was literally any other color. So we ended up picking a really beautiful dark green. It's actually the same green that I painted this room because I loved it so much. It's called Adventurer, also by Bear, and it's just this really lovely, warm, super dark green, just such a beautiful color. It looks really great in a bunch of different lights. Love it. And we also decided to paint the other bedrooms upstairs a slightly lighter green called African Plain. Again, a very warm undertoned green, but just a little bit lighter. And I painted my office an even lighter, even more warm toned green. So we added a little bit of color. Clearly, we're big fans of green. We discussed other colors, but we just kept coming back to green. And honestly, I'm not mad at it, because if our house feels like living in the chicest, coziest hobbit hole to have ever existed, I'm fine with that. It's good. That's basically my dream. So I'll stop rambling. I could probably go on for days and days at this point. My patrons know. They've seen the live streams of me talking through all our plans. I could go on forever, but I just wanted to share this big news with all of you, to share that home content is on the way. I'm excited. There is so much to decorate, so many things to organize, so many bins, so many jars, so many shelving units. Honestly, I might be even more excited about the organization side of things than the decorating side, but like just barely. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. They're always linked in the description box to get way more updates on the house. I am always taking photos of things and little videos to try to decide how to do things, and I'd love to be able to quickly poll all of you, get your ideas on what I should do with various things, and just share a little bit more of the nitty-gritty bits of the process. I'm just so over the moon excited to share this with all of you. I'm sure you can tell I'm struggling to express myself. I'm so excited, but thank you for being here. I hope you're excited for the content to come, because I know I certainly am, and I'll see you really soon in my next one. Bye, friends. And of course, as always, thank you so much to my patrons for your support. Without you, this never would have happened. Also, y'all have been amazing moral support through the last couple months of renovations and being very overwhelmed and stressed, and also excited, but mostly overwhelmed. And it means a lot to me. Y'all are the best. Okay, bye.